In today's video, we're going to talk about how to turn bad business ideas into good business ideas. I just surfed the internet and I found a whole bunch of bad business ideas examples. One of them, for example, was a guy that put up an arcade. Now, generally speaking, an arcade is not a bad idea. You can make a ton of money with arcades. But his problem was he put that arcade up in walking distance to a school, which again is not bad. That's a good idea. But when the kids walked from the school to that arcade, they came by another arcade that was actually much bigger, much more modern equipment, and on top of it, they could buy food there. As a result, none of the kids made it to his smaller, with older equipment arcade, and as a result, he went out of business. Now, here's an example of just a bad execution of actually not such a bad business idea. Here's how I would actually make that into a successful business idea that you could actually potentially could scale into 8 figures or even 9 figures. So the first thing you want to think about when you start up any physical brick and mortar business, which an arcade is where are you going to put it? So the first thing is location, like location. Now in this case, he put it further away from the school than the other big arcade, and therefore nobody made it over to him. So the first thing you need to do is you need to look at what your competition is like. Where is your competition? And position your place such that it's easy to reach and that it gets natural traffic. Well, that would have probably been a good thing to do. The second thing is you want to look at the size of your store, if it's a brick and mortar store, and what you can do there with it. Because his was small, the other one was big. The other one was big, and actually because it was big, it had extra space for either a food truck or for a kitchen or something like that. So therefore, it won over again. The third thing is and really this is kind of the first thing you want to think about is who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who is your audience? In other words, also your customer. And audience or customer. Who is your customer? In this case, arcades are being visited a lot by teenagers. Teenagers can't get into bars. Teenagers usually don't have money to go to full-blown sit-down restaurants. Teenagers don't necessarily have full-blown transportation yet. So therefore, it makes sense to put an arcade close to a school, but it also makes sense to offer food on there. Also, perhaps makes sense to offer perhaps additional entertainment opportunities, like let's say paintball or something like that. So these things start playing all together. If you have an arcade in the right location, and if it's big enough that you don't just put in a bunch of arcades that kids get bored with over time, but you also have space perhaps for flex activities. You can have birthday parties there. You can have, perhaps you have an axe throwing kind of thing there. Perhaps you add a escape the room kind of things. As these things come into fashion and get out of fashion, there's additional kind of things you can use that flex space for. Or you create a paintball additional space in there, and you charge extra for all these kind of things. You got additional revenue sources. By adding food to it, now they don't have a reason to leave anymore. You provide food, they eat something, then they play some more, and each time they play, they spend more money right there. So when you put this all together, as a result, you got a profitable business. Now, once it's profitable, you can actually then scale it. You can find a second location, you can find a third location, you can find a fourth location. As a matter of fact, I know a gentleman that has actually taken this concept into a 9-figure, $100 million plus business by actually providing stores like that, the arcades and renting them to them. So he's actually not in the arcade a store business, he's in the arcade rental business, and he provides that to them. So what I'm saying by that is that once you master that, you can actually expand beyond that, and there's very additional verticals and niches within the niches that you can get into. But bottom line is, if he done that the right way, he would potentially be making a serious income right now, a very successful and thriving company that could be worth millions and millions of dollars. Sometimes the idea is not bad, but the execution is horrible. So make sure you pay attention to those things: audience, size, location, and what also services. Obviously, that's the one that we already talked about. What services are you offering there? Those are some of the key components for a business like that. Alright, so I want to do more videos like that. So if you have any kind of horrible business ideas or good business ideas or questions on how to scale a business idea, put them in the comments right now. And also make sure you hit that subscribe button and you hit that notification bell so you get notified when more videos like that coming up. Alright, see you in the next video.